guys and girls, Friday Night TCG Talk back with PTK Collectibles. Now I'm joined again by Poker Mike. How you doing?
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. For anyone watching, this is a very spur of the moment one, by the way. Mike had 5 minutes notice. Right, so we want to talk about something that we actually have been talking about in some of the group chats.
Yeah.
And it was the Charizard UPC that got brought up recently. Obviously, Fusion Strike is going mental, as well as everything else in that bubble. But we obviously talked about that. It was June 2023, so it was actually pretty much about 2 years ago now, where we talked about the Charizard UPC being £90 roughly, and then Fusion Strike was about the same price. And obviously, they've exploded now. Fusion Strike boxes, what? Where are they now? Over 500.
To be honest, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't check.
It seems to be going up daily at this point, which is mad for the set that people didn't want. And obviously, I'll have a link in the description for the actual video that we did talk about this, because we go a lot in depth as to why you should. A little bit late now, but it gets some insight into our reasonings behind why we thought that it was going to be a good pickup, and why the reasonings people had for not picking it up was actually the reason why you should. The Charizard UPC as well. Obviously, you've got some. You have some still, don't you?
To be fair, I think I've only got one or two. Like I did, just because they were so big and they take up a lot of space. I think I may have had another one at one point, but it was when they were like £80 and they were at London Card Show, and actually Collector's Card House had them for like 80 or 85. And every time I go to a card show, I just want to open something. So I was like, yeah, no brainer. Like,
it's a good
so
product.
cheap. You get the free promos, which I've graded. One of them got a 10. I got really lucky on one of them, got a 10. The others didn't do as bad. Not as good. You know, I think they got like an 8 or something. But I don't have many, but I mean, it still stands. Like the reasoning as to why they were good back then is exactly why they're expensive now.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before, and it was a product that encompasses Sword and Shield era as a whole. Obviously, it has Evolving Skies in it as well. It has Fusion Strike. I think it has Lost Origins as well. So these sets that are booming right now, you know, Astral Radiance is over £300 a box, which was a set that people didn't like. It's mad to see. And these are printed they were printed a lot. There were pallets of it.
Yeah, I think with the Zard UPC, it's a really interesting one because if I remember right, the UPC before that was the 151 Mew one. No, wait, was it? Or Celebrations?
Was after.
Sorry, Celebrations
Celebration.
UPC. That was like one of the first UPCs we had that it came out, and then it literally like doubled / tripled in price within like a few months, and it never got reprinted. So when the Zard UPC got announced, obviously it's Charizard as well. Everyone was like, oh, I'm going to order loads. They just assumed it was going to go to the moon like the Celebrations one was. And obviously Pokemon actually made a ton of them, because it didn't happen. You know, it came out and there was just too much supply for the demand. Like it didn't even out, and they just came crashing down in price because they were so available and everyone was expecting them to be really unavailable. So a lot of people went into it thinking they could flip it and sort of scalp and flip it, make a quick few dollars or pounds. But when people realized, oh, I've just bought 20 of these and they're actually not even worth what I've paid. It was a race to the bottom, and we ended up seeing them at like £80 a UPC.
Which was mad. Yeah. But what's inside it, and I think obviously the size of it as well is a big reason. I think it's something that people don't really talk about when they're hoarding sealed or, you know, investing or whatever. Space is a huge issue, and there's the argument of, you know, people will say get storage and stuff, but then obviously the cost of that, is it worth for the actual price, you know, the value of these things increasing. So, and those Zard UPCs, if you filled storage up with that back then, you probably would have felt a little bit hard done by, because they weren't moving. And they were at that price for a while.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, they were at that price for a while. They weren't moving.
Yeah, like if you had bought a ton of them and put them into storage? Like who would have wanted to have paid monthly storage fees when the product you've just bought is actually worth less already, and then you're paying monthly on top? Like, yeah, it just doesn't. I can't see anyone. There probably would have been a few people out there doing it, but they would have known what they were doing and sort of had the same expectation, I guess, that we would have when we were suggesting it was probably a pretty good buy.
Yeah, I mean, we know people that have got a large amount of those, and I think, again, it was one of those things that it always comes down to people kind of, I think in their back of their head, they know it's good, but because they know it's going to be on that price for a while, they kind of just go, oh, well, I'll get it next time, or I'll get it next time. Yeah. And then, the time that they do buy it is either when it started going up, or they'll just go, oh, well, it's out of my price range now, so then I won't get it. And then it keeps going up and up and up and up. Like, we see them Evolving Skies, the prices, that's just, it's ridiculous. I don't have any Evolving Skies boxes left. I had boxes and I sold them as they were going up. And I think the last one I sold was, I think, around £800, which is a lot of money considering I paid like 100 quid for it. But, when you look at the prices now, obviously you don't sell that much. So, it's less of an issue. And some people generally will not sell. But I didn't think that it was going to get to the prices it's now, I'll be honest. I've been right about a lot of things, but I was wrong about Evolving Skies. I did not think that it was going to be, in this short space, I didn't think it was going to be over £1,000.
Sorry, mate, I lost you for the last like 5 seconds or so. You're back now.
I did not think that it was going to get to that £1,000 price. Not in a short space. I did not think it was going to happen in 5 years.
No, yeah, and I think the same with Fusion Strike or any of those sets that have literally just 5x'd in the space of like 3 months. I think if you asked anyone, 6 months ago, oh, Fusion Strike's going to be £700 a box in the next 6 months, you'd be like, well, that's not going to happen because it's £140 a box. So how's it going to be 700? Like, it's hard to see those things. I mean, it is hindsight, but especially with like Evolving Skies, because that's kind of it's obviously like an outlier, right? But you can't predict these like black swan events where the market just booms and then you have all these different people that have still never been in it before that come in, and then people are making content and it's all changed and it's all different. Like, you can't predict those just anomalies that just crop up and then things go mad. So before Evolving Skies, like, there wasn't a Sun and Moon set at £2,000. Like, so, no. But if there was, then you could be like, Evolving Skies could end up following that same pattern or that same path. But because it hadn't happened before, it's like, no, that's just, I can't see it happening. That's never going to happen. But there are going to be these things that there's always going to be like a new first time for something to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think if any set at the moment is going to do it in Scarlet Violet, it'll probably be Surgeon Sparks. Or, I mean, I know you're a big fan of Joe.
Well, I hope not. I hope not, mate. I've opened 150 packs.
You're fucked if it does. He's going to be on 2,000 packs, still not pulling the Pikachu, and
and it would be £1,000 box.
£1,000 a box, the most expensive. Yeah,
I'll just be crying myself to sleep in all of the bulk that I've pulled out from it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that set definitely does. I mean, I know we're going to get another reprint of Surgeon Spark, so we know that, according to US distros, that the black and white, Black Bolt and White Flare sets have supposedly been short printed to allow for reprints of Prismatic and Surgeon. So,
but that's already happened, isn't it?
So yeah, they're obviously working on Prismatic reprints again. And more Surgeon. We've already had Surgeon reprint, but they're going to do more. Obviously, because I don't know if it probably is the right idea, but it still, to me, baffles. And I understand how the system works, and I have the same conversation in other card games. Because Flesh and Blood is having the same issues right now.
Yeah.
But a company as big as Pokemon, they've seen the boom that we've happened through COVID and that, we know that they actually reduced the print runs kind of midway through Scarlet Violet, so around like Paradox, maybe 10.4. And obviously they've had to up it again. But the printing facilities they have, which they did buy another one during COVID, is still not enough for the demand. And we see the Pokemon Center drops go mental. Like, we see people fighting in supermarkets and shops and lines out the door at Smith's and stores open at 6 a.m. It's still, to me, I never will, I think, fully get over the fact that Pokemon will probably never, I think it will never get to a point where they can print enough for the demand when we're during a boom. Normally, I think they can.
Yeah. It's too soon, too quick. They just can't adjust fast enough. Like, yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting. Obviously, you think surging will be the evolving skies of Scarlet and Violet. For me, I think it's Journey Together. But I don't. It's really, it's really hard to know. That's because I really like it. I think it's a great set. Like, all the illustration rares, all the special illustration rares, all of them are, literally everyone is nice in my opinion. There's not like some trainer special illustration rares. They're all just Pokemon, and they all, because obviously the trainers are in the cards as well. So all of them I think look nice. Obviously it doesn't have that massive chase card. That's the only thing, I guess, taking it away from the set in terms of like it's obviously got, the Clefairy, it's got a chase, but it's not like a $1,000 price point like we had in Prismatic, or like when Pikachu from Surgeon first came out. It was very expensive at the start. So obviously I feel like a lot of those people that are flipping or scalping or just trying to make money, trying to rip packs and like gamble essentially, they're not really going for Journey Together, even though it's an amazing set. But it's also hard for me, I can say that, and I can say it's a really nice set. Pull rates are great. All the cards are look amazing. But is that just my opinion because I like it? Just because I like it doesn't mean it's the next Evolving Skies. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I struggle to think.
So I think Journey Together is potentially the next Cosmic, but the reason why, I'll go through why I think Surge and Sparks is the next Evolving, is because Evolving was the set that Sword and Shield went mental. So that was the catalyst in that Sword and Shield era when stuff went to shit in English and Japanese. And was it just a set, or was it just the time it came out? We'll probably never know. It's probably partly the set, but also partly the conditions that happened in the market at the time. Now, the only set that we've got in this era right now that I can think of similar conditions is Surge and Sparks. So that was a set that was a catalyst for this boom. Now, the people that were cracking packs for Evolving Skies that might have entered the hobby, and they'll go straight to Evolving because they know of the Moonbrewer, and they know, people go, oh yeah, Evolving Skies. They'll be like, oh, what's a set that I can open that I can pull a great chase from, or the most expensive card? It's going to be that card. So that's that card. When you look at Scarlet Violet era, there would have potentially been a lot of people entering the hobby again, and that was the most recent set that had come out because it's before Prismatic. I think it's the closest I can see in this generation. I might be way off, but it's the closest in terms of take the emotion out of it. It doesn't matter how good or bad the set is, because Evolving Skies isn't the best set in Sword and Shield. There are better sets. But again, that's an opinion based. It's the same as Scarlet Violet. I don't think Surge and Sparks is the best set. I think Journey Together is a better set. But I think Surge and Sparks is the closest in terms of set-wise, market conditions, and what's kind of happening overall compared to Evolving. But we might have a case where both sets do really well. Surgeon's obviously got the Pikachu. There are some really nice cards in it as well. Obviously got the Latias, the Latios, the Milotic as well. There's some big cards in that set. Journey Together obviously has the Clefairy. But I think overall as a set, the artwork, I don't see misses in that set. There are misses in Surge and Spark. There are cards that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like the Alolan Executor. Not really a big fan of the Alolan version of that. Whereas Journey Together, it seems like every card is a banger. So and we don't know about Destined Rivals yet. Obviously, we know that the black and white set will be the last set, technically, of Scarlet Violet, and then it'll go on to the Megas, which will coincide with the Pokemon Z, Legend Z. So, who knows? Maybe it'll be Destined Rivals, I don't know. But it's either going to be Surgeon or, Journey. If I had to pick 2 boxes to go ham on keeping sealed, it would be those 2 sets.
Yeah, well, over here anyway, Surgeon's gone now. So it was in Smith's toy store for like quite a few weeks. You could only buy 10 packs at a time. And they had like lots and lots of booster boxes. They just keep opening new boxes, 10 packs per person per day. And that lasted quite a while, if I'm honest. Like I was going back every couple of weeks and just getting another 10 packs. But they're now out. And that was the reprint, that was from that restock and it's gone. Journey Together just had a couple more at some of my local stores as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess like what you said, it doesn't have to be one box. I mean, you look at Sun and Moon, you've got Team Up, you've got Cosmic Eclipse. They're both really expensive. I know Team Up's like really expensive, but like even Cosmic Eclipse as a box for a set that came out 5 or nearly 6 years ago now.
Yeah, 2019, I think.
It's still like, not £80 a box, it's very, very, a lot more than that. So there could be a couple of sets from this era. And I guess the difference from when it happened in Sword and Shield, I guess the difference now is it's like lasted longer. So with Sword and Shield, it was kind of like there was a massive influx and demand into Modern, but it only lasted like 1 or 2 sets, and then they also then start printing like loads and just kept printing so much after that, which obviously led to Vivid Voltage being so cheap, and things like that. But obviously this time around it's different because it feels like it started at Surgeon.
Yeah,
we've then
it's
had
already started like.
Yeah, we're 3 sets in. Surgeon, Prismatic, Journey Together. We're about to hit the new set. It's still happening now. Like, we're going to be 5-6 sets in where the demand is still there, which is, I guess, never happened before.
I think
they're going to have to pick what sets. They can't reprint every single one of those sets. It's just not... Or they could, but it would just be so thin that it just is pointless.
I think...
Yeah,
when you look at the boom happened in 2020, so it was, I remember actually it was just after Rebel Clash had come out, so it's actually at the start of Sword and Shield, because I remember Darkness Ablaze was the first set that they couldn't do pre-releases in person, because I remember getting the build and battle boxes and I remember doing quite well, and so we had it early on, and obviously that early stuff they weren't good sets, to be honest, but I found it interesting that people compared Vivid to Surgeon just because of the Pikachu. And that was that. But Vivid as a set, those first couple of sets are pretty shit, to be honest. I have zero desire to open early Sword and Shield. I have no desire to open Sword and Shield in general, really. Unless it was like Lost Origins, Fusion, or Silver Tempest. But those early Scarlet Violet sets are significantly better. And I think the holiday sets is an interesting one as well, because we've had 151 Prismatic, and then we're going to have the black and white sets, which are 2 basically. But in Sword and Shield, we had Champion's Path, which was shit.
It was Shining Fate. Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, Shining Fates, which was pretty shit. Let's be honest. Out of the shiny sets, that's probably the worst.
Yeah, that's when it kicked off a bit though, because you could sell that ETB for double the price on release. Yeah.
And then we had Celebrations, the anniversary.
Yeah.
Again,
that was really good.
That went mad. And then we finished off with we still had Pokemon Go, which that was naff. And then we obviously ended in Crown Zenith, which is a fantastic set.
Yeah.
But there were some naff holiday sets yet. We've had 151, which is potentially the best modern set could be the best set ever made in Pokemon. You know, we've obviously also had Prismatic. Okay, the pull rates are crap, but if you're an Evolutions fan, it's going to be your favorite set.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have the black and white sets, which haven't come out yet, but I don't care. For me, it's going to be my favorite set, probably since black and white, to be honest.
Wow.
There's not for me, there's not like 151 I think was fantastic. I think whether you like the set or not, I think you can understand the significance, the cultural significance in Pokemon of 151. I would hazard to guess that more packs of 151 was printed and opened than any other set, because that got so many reprints. Obviously, the Blooming Waters had like 11 packs in. But it's interesting that we have less holiday sets this generation. Like, obviously, the generation's been, I guess, cut short a little bit because of the mega stuff. So we don't know what's going to happen with the mega sets. They might do, a special mega set, but that's obviously going to be revisiting XY. So Kalos region stuff, like we're having now with the black and white stuff, where stuff's starting to go up. Its potential is the megas will go up again if they haven't already started. And a lot of those XY full arts as well, which those XY full arts, I know people collecting those in the PSA 10, and some of them are like top 2 or 3. So, and we know that Phantom Forces sold for $11,000, which makes it the most expensive XY set by ×3.
Yeah.
Which we thought Flashfire was going to be, or maybe Furious Fist, because they were obviously the earlier sets.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's eye-watering. $11,000 for Phantom Forces.
How much did you open?
I liked that set because of the Gengar. It was a good set, but I opened, I think, I didn't open Flashfire when it came out. I skipped Flashfire. And then I came back when Primal Clash came out.
Oh, okay.
Obviously the Kyogre and Groudon and stuff. But I'm interested to see what happens to the black and white set when it releases, because obviously we know it's short printed in English.
That just makes it worse, doesn't it?
Does that not just make it worse?
And the fact that they've said that they've done that is like a scalper's wet dream, isn't it?
Yeah. Why? Like, distributors have said this, but so this is either true, or it's distributors lying and they're going to hold back loads of product and control the supply.
Yeah.
And I don't trust distros. We know that they do shit like this a lot. So unless Pokemon come out and say something themselves, then it could just be them playing games.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Part of me is just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'll pay retail, and if I can't pay retail, then I probably just won't get it. Like, I don't. Yeah. I'm not bothered, and that's me, who usually collects a lot of sealed, or like invest in a lot of sealed. Right. I'm happy just to skip. Like, I'm not willing to pay double the price to be able to open it on release day or something like that. If I can't, like, I'll probably go looking for it on release day. If it's not a retail, and if nowhere has it, then that's just the way it is. If I want to open Pokemon cards, I can open Pokemon cards. There's tons of other sets out there that you can go open. You don't have to have the latest set. I know you're going to want to have the latest set, but that's on you. If you really want the latest set and you want to pay 4 times the price, that's your choice. And I think that's fine. Like, if you want to do it, great. It's not an ideal situation, obviously not. We want to be able to go out on release day, pop to your local game store, pick up an ETB, pick up a booster box, and just have fun opening it. That's just not the reality of how it is at the moment. And it is what it is. That's the way I see things. But
I think it's difficult because I'm pretty good at removing emotion out of things, but I have to say I'm quite emotional about this set because black and white era is probably my second favorite era. So, like if they did a Johto set, so it's I preferably would open Japanese, but if I can get anything for retail or whatever, I'll get it. But I think one of the main things is kind of partnering up with an LGS, like being regulars, and obviously not every LGS sells things for retail, as we know.
Yeah.
Some sets that are Play stores sell above retail, and it's a hard one because it's frustrating when we have these market conditions and stores are just charging well over RRP, and I've seen multiple excuses as well. Our allocations are low, and they are low, but I think you can still sell. My LGS have never sold anything above retail.
Yeah.
Like, they can do it. They can support themselves doing it. There's ways to do it. You know, they did a Google form. Then you had to do a quiz on Pokemon. So you had to, know some things about Pokemon. And then they would randomly select, however many they had. They'd randomly select out that list.
Yeah.
So, it's it is what it is with Pokemon. We know it will get better at some point, but right now it's just a little bit tough for the people that kind of want to go into a store and open the most recent sets.
Yeah, and it will change. Like we don't obviously know exactly when. I think a lot of people are expecting it to change at the start of the next era, where things are usually quite slow. There's a lot of changes. They don't normally go crazy with extra rarities and art styles and things until later on. So hopefully that's the time where it switches up and you can go get things for under retail, which you used to be able to do for years and years and years. But yeah, I guess we just have to wait and see.
Yeah. So, do you want to end on a hot take? I've really put you on the spot on this one.
You have, yeah, you have. I've got no idea. I've got.
This is even short notice because people usually have like a week to prepare for this, but I literally gave you 5 minutes. So
yeah, to be fair, my hot take was probably what I kind of just said, where you're not really entitled just to get the new set at the moment. That's just the way it is. You can buy it.
It's the conditions
if you want
right
to pay the market rates. I can't really think of anything else.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is with these things. Obviously, we've seen with Smiths recently, people queuing up and stores opening early and people review bombing stores and people getting shitty and entitled comments and stuff. And, I've got a few screenshotted for, something, another video I'm doing. But I think what Mike just said, you're not entitled to it. Get over yourself. It is a hobby at the end of the day. This isn't your life, that you don't get to always get stuff at retail. And I think the attitude that people have is, oh yeah, but I've been buying Pokemon for 5-10 years, or I go to my LGS every week. Why can't they hold stuff back for me? The reality is, like everybody else, there's so many other people in your boat. There's so many other people that are also exactly the same as you that also want product. And it's, there's nothing they can do. Stores can't do anything. It's, get what you can. I think if you shop around, we've still managed to pick up stuff. You're still picking up Surgeon Sparks packs. So it is doable, but you have to be savvy and you have to shop around for the different drops you get from different stores. Chaos Cards have done a really cool system now where you sign up and then they email you like a lottery system, which I think is really fair. I think it's probably the fairest way of doing it, honestly. So,
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you said, you can kind of... There are local game stores where you can build a relationship with the people that work there. And to be honest, even myself and even at local stores that are a chain, I've kind of built relationships with some of the people that work there just from going in and looking for Pokemon cards. And it just so happens to be that the person behind the desk is really friendly and really chatty. And they're super cool, and they say like when new stuff might be coming in, and just things like that can make a huge difference as to whether you can end up getting it or not. Like it's crazy how you can just kind of almost network your way into potentially being able to secure an ETB on release day or something like that, because I literally went into one of my local shops this weekend, and it was the Prismatic SPC release day. I got there at like 2:00. They were like, no, we were sold out. But from that conversation, I learned that people had queued outside the shopping centre when they opened at 8:30.
Yeah.
And then how, they said how many they had, and you can kind of work things out from there. Okay, so the next release, if I want to come and get one, if you are one of those people that are just super stressed out about it, like, and you really want to come get one at retail, you can. You just have to get up at this time and get to the shopping centre for 7 a.m. and then you'll be able to get one. So I feel like there's always so many options, and there's kind of always a solution. It's just whether you want to spend the time or spend the money. Like, if you want that, you can get it, but you also don't have to have it if you don't want to.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much is how Pokemon is right now. Thank you all for watching. As always, I'll get the link in the description below to Pokemike's channel, and obviously check out his Surge and Sparks daily videos. He's done loads now. We're hoping that he pulls a Pikachu, otherwise he's going to be out of a house soon if the packs keep going out. So thank you as always, and have a great day.